Welcome to SCP Unlimited. I'm your co-host Weldon, and this is your co-host
Mason here.
Today we will be reading SCP-610, The Flesh That Hates, and let's just jump right into it. Item number, SCP-610, Object Class, Keter. Special containment procedures due to the vast area of infection. SCP-610 covers containment is impossible. Isolation of the area has proved far more effective, and permission has been granted by the Russian government to establish a perimeter to keep people out of these areas under the guise of the military. Should any organism displaying the traits consistent with SCP-610 be sighted near this perimeter, the established protocol requires it be engaged at range with small arms until immobile, then dispatched using incendiary weapons and munitions from as great distance as possible. As any living thing coming in physical contact with an organism infected with SCP-610 is considered expendable, and is to be immediately terminated and incinerated. Any persons coming within 3 meters of SCP-610 infected life are to immediately withdraw from the area, be isolated from the rest of their team, and subjected to medical examination is the only remote techniques to determine if the infection has occurred and appropriate steps taken based on that determination. At present, the known infection vectors for SCP-610's spread of this seem to be focused on physical contact. Drone movements within heavily infected areas have turned air samples containing minute particles which, when exposed to organic compounds, will result in the spread of SCP-610. The results of these particular tests have revealed that most require several days to manifest, if at all, with the exception of particular tests have revealed that most require several days to manifest, if at all, with the exception of direct contact with exposed lung and liver tissue. These particular tests show a rapid rate of growth, which requires incineration of the testing environment, no more than 24 hours after initial exposure, with even a 2-hour mishap risking a compromised facility event. Even that this kind of rapid growth only occurs in organic material existing outside the human body. This form of infection is currently considered a minor concern. Curiosity has been given rise to a series of questions regarding the possible origin of the infection in conjunction with the failed data expunged containment protocol remains the scorched earth policy at this time, and no concern for transmission via water or air at infection parameters exists bearing situational changes in the field. Description: initial reports of SCP-610 came direct from the Russian government through undisclosed channels. These reports consisted primarily of the disappearances of farmers in the region, and were not considered until the local police, followed by the regional police, and finally a government dispatched agent, all failed to report within a 72-hour period. A small military contingent was dispatched to the area and quickly withdrew, at which point the Foundation was contacted to investigate. The area SCP-610 is close to Lake Baikal in southern Siberia. Areas of known infection are marked on a map provided to us here. The containment parameters are marked in blue surrounding these infection areas, and as of the present, no further locations have been identified. Incursions to the perimeter must be reported prior to conducting confirmed during exploration and debrief on immediately following return. Well, Mason, would you like to read?
Yes, I will.
Okay, yeah, there's not much dialogue here, and there's only a little bit left. You're gonna start right here.
SCP-610 appears to be a contagious skin disease at first, with symptoms including rash, itching, and increased skin sensitivity. Within 3 hours, the disease will cause blemishes resembling heavy scar tissue to form in the chest and arm areas, spreading to the legs and back within an additional hour, consuming the victim completely within a few hours. Exposure to high temperatures vastly decreases the time for the contagion to spread, and complete infections have been recorded occurring in as little as 5 minutes. After the completion of the infection occurs, the victim's life functions will cease for approximately 3 minutes, after which after which they will restart at 2 to 3 times the activity rate of a normal human. Following this, the scar tissue on the victims will start to move of its own accord and grow at a rapid rate. Normal human features start to disappear at this point under the infection, and the path of mutation appears to be largely random. Subjects observed in this stage of infection have been recorded as growing 3 or more limbs of a type such as arms or legs. They the head may become uh, misshapen and elongate or widen out, and parts of the subject may split open, from which additional branches of the flesh will grow. The duration of this stage of infection is unknown, and not all subjects appear to progress to the later stages.
Under unknown conditions, as infected individual will cease moving and place itself in a location it deems suitable where it roots itself. The fleshy growth on the victim will then begin to spread itself across all surrounding objects and consume them. Such objects do not spread the infection as living creatures do. However, and the ex- the effect of the prolonged contact with these objects is recorded later in this document. It is assumed that this behavior is to create an area hospitable to to continue growth of the other infected. Observation of the life infected by SCP-610 by staff is impossible. Those infected with the disease immediately seek out aid as a natural human impulse, resulting in unintended infections. Those infected past the scar tissue phase actively and aggressively attempt to infect anyone approaching them within an undefined area. It has been established that should an infected be capable of sight and observe an uninfected, it will proceed toward them. If the infected has lost the ability of sight at a range of approximately 30 meters, it is considered safe. Observation of SCP-610 infected settlements has been established using artificial methods such as remote robots. The data returned from these observations, coupled with the openly aggressive nature of the infected to attempt to spread SCP-610, has resulted in Keter classification. However, so long as nothing is allowed to enter or leave the infected areas, it is considered a neutralized threat. A neutralized threat of concern are the cavernous areas beneath the infected settlements that were discovered during the exploration and attempts to get research personnel into these areas are underway.
Field logs?
The field logs, SCP-610-L1. A small remote-controlled rover is sent to a site. Wait, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Personnel, an infected SCP-610-L2, an infected Class D personnel is sent into Site C, with video equipment. SCP-610-L3. Initial discovery of the tunnel entrance at Site A. SCP-610-L4. Unmanned exploration of the Site A tunnels. SCP-610-L5. Manned exploration of the site of the A tunnels. The following field report is for Class A or higher personnel. Unauthorized viewing of this file will be strictly prohibited and will consider a violation of Foundation contracts and a breach of international law. SCP-610-L6 exploration records of Operation Source Point, and that was kind of like blacked out and stuff.
Seems like they don't want us learning about Operation Source Point.
They don't, clearly. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.
And if you see any suspicious flesh monsters around in your area, report it to the headquarters. I said stop!